I am not really feeling my best today. However, I'm coming to drop some archetypes to leave with you guys. So be sure to take some notes and let's get into these next 4 or 5. So we went over a few before, but today we're going to start with the athlete. The athlete, this archetype represents the ultimate expression of the strength of the human spirit as represented in the power and magnificence of the human body. Because the Olympian is so connected to the spiritual as well as the physical strength, a code of ethics and morality is associated with this archetype, which is an excellent example of the universal power of the psyche of an archetype. A link to the athlete should not be evaluated by whether your physical skill is on par with that of professionals or whether your body is perfect in form and function. A person dedicated to transcending the limits of physical handicap qualifies as much for this archetype as the professional or artistic athlete, because the development of personal willpower and strength of spirit is a requirement for the body to manifest its perfection. The shadow aspect of athletes, however, may manifest as a misuse of one's strength against any sort of person or opponent in the world. Even outside the field of professional athletes, such as a professional boxer who starts a bar fight, a false sense of invulnerability, dirty play, or colluding with gamblers. The shadow may also appear as a lack of honor that compels you to cheat to win. Okay, next is the Avenger. This archetype and its related manifestations respond to a need to balance the scales of justice, sometimes by employing aggressive techniques. Attorneys who work for the disadvantaged or who volunteer part of their time for pro bono work are modern Avengers, bringing war criminals to trial or legally pursuing corporations that harm society are examples of the Avenger on a global scale. Fueled by a sense of righteousness in behalf of society, one can also be motivated to avenge an injustice against oneself or one's family. The avenging angel is an expression of this archetype of mythic proportions that suggests that one is on a mission from God, and in this case, of Joan of Arc. On the global level, the shadow manifests as avenging perceived immoral behavior by resorting to violence, from acts of eroticism to bombing abortion clinics. The rightness of one's cause can never justify harming innocent third parties. In evaluating your connection to this archetype, review your life for experiences in which your primary motivation was to defend or is to defend or represent a cause on behalf of others. One instance is not enough. You need to relate to this archetype as a primary force through which many of the choices and actions of your life are directed. A burning desire to get even can be so forceful that you organize a lifetime around meeting that end. So that is the Avenger. Next, we have the Beggar. Completely without material resources, the Beggar is associated with dependence on the kindness of others. Living on the street, starvation and disease, whether in New York or Cali or anywhere. It is easy to believe that this archetype, the archetype of the Beggar, is solely a negative one, but that is an illusion. A person need hardly to be starving for food to be considered a beggar. People beg for attention, for love, authority, and material objects. We throw a dog a bone to give a powerless being a treat of power. From a symbolic perspective, the beggar archetype represents a test that compels a person to confront self-empowerment, beginning at the base level of physical survival. Learning about the nature of generosity, compassion, and self-esteem are fundamental to this archetype and the pattern of it. So that is the beggar. Next, we have the bully. The last one I'm going to cover today is the bully. The archetype of the bully manifests the core truth that the spirit is always stronger than the body. Symbolically, our physical bodies can bully our spirits with any number of reasons why we should back down from our challenges, which appear to overwhelm us by their size and shape. Your relationship to this archetype should be evaluated within a framework far more expansive than evaluating whether you bully people. Consider whether you're on your life path. You confront one experience and relationship after another that appears to have more power than you, and ultimately leads you to ask, will I stand up to this challenge? People are often called to take on bullies for the sake of others. And this is another part of your connection to the archetype. Conventional wisdom holds that underneath a bully is a coward trying to keep others from discovering his or her true identity. Symbolically, the coward within must stand up to being bullied by his own or her own inner fears, which is the path to empowerment through these two archetypes. So I didn't put this one on here, but I'll just go ahead and go over it really quick. The child. Everyone has expressions of each one of these aspects of the child within his psyche or her psyche. Although one aspect is usually so dominant that it eclipses the energy of others, the wounded child, for example, can be so needy that it is almost impossible for the magical child to manifest its qualities. At the same time, because every one of the child aspects is present in various degrees of strength in every psyche, similar patterns often overlap, making it hard to distinguish which one you relate to most intensely. You may find that you relate equally to the orphan and the wounded child, or to the nature child. When this is the case, choose one that includes the specific qualities that you can relate to in the other archetype as you investigate your psyche of this archetype in your life. That's all for today, you guys. I just wanted to drop a few archetypes while we are going over learning them so we can get our family of 12 together. I will try to drop more tomorrow. But until then, take care, get rest. Love you. See you later. Bye.